regardless of the outcome. Boost up positive energy without one. Sorry about the jab, I'm on a holy field. I'm bearing fruit, but demons try to eat them like Yoshi meals. I piss them off the Batman like Falcone deals. Jungle full of predators, I know how Mowgli feels. So I got the fire, refuse to live in fear. I can spot suppliers, eating fresh drugs. Call me private.
Oh yeah, welcome to episode 257 of the Permaculture Pimpcast, where PIMP stands for Permaculture is My Passion. The only Pimpcast on planet Earth where we discuss permaculture, preparedness, and practical living, and even on occasion, even the paranormal. Yeah. So, this episode, as always, brought to you by Hickory Ridge Soap from TwoOldCrowsHomestead.com.
Turn that simp into a pimp.
Bam! Heaven's Harvest, 10% off with promo code PERMA. And if you want to tip a pimp, do it over there in the Fountain app. You can listen to all your podcasts over there, even triple up the speed. And if you want to drop a derivation of Bitcoin on a playa, you know exactly where to do it. How you doing, honey?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, I just kind of switched it up a little bit, but I didn't tell anybody. How about that? So, hey, want to thank everybody here in the chat tonight. Oh, yeah, Bowen's in the house. Thunderstick Homestead and Ministry. Yeah, Bowen, I enjoy your shorts, man. I'm glad you pointed that. I'm glad I'm seeing Bowen out here from Thunderstick Homestead because I watch his videos, but they don't even pop up anymore. Yeah, YouTube seems to be doing that a lot with all the people out there that are doing cool, interesting stuff that I'm actually interested in. Hey, if you're here in the chat, want to thank you so much. And if you would, hit that thumbs up. It tells YouTube to immediately start suppressing us. So, speaking of suppression, folks, I want to tell you right now, be sure, set your calendars. I want to say December 4th, you're going to want to tune in, and I'm going to tell you why. A lot of it has to do with the fact of what's going on around here and all of the media sources, and Michelle's going to be able to speak to this a little more intelligently than me, but a lot of the media sources around here are saying, oh, the water's clear. We got places like, and I'm going to call them out, and I don't care, because I'm going to the store and I'm bringing receipts, nephew. I'm talking not this Wednesday coming up, but the one after that. We're going to break out the test results. Okay. The test results we are part of are actually officially coming in tomorrow. They're probably not going to be wonderful. Well, Bear Independent also paid for test results. He has his results, and it's 180 degrees out of phase with what we're officially being told around here. We had Dr. Will on and his crew. What was the last week? I can't even remember anymore.
I think so. Last week.
And we're not going to be able to get it. I can't tell you any specifics as of yet. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to go live, and we're going to have all three people and read all three reports, and we're going to overlay that with what you're being told from, let's see, I got them written down here, NPR, PBS, Mountain True, and a whole host of all the local stations around here saying, oh, everything's fine. Take note, when they give you test results, and I'm talking at places like even in Ohio, when they give you test results, first of all, if you're waiting on the government to give you those results, I guarantee those results are screwed. And Michelle, what are some of the things they're saying about the water? Like it's ready to rock and roll around
They
here.
said that they tested for 185 different things. There was a couple chemicals that came back, which number one, I would love to know the things that they tested for, because you can't find what you're not looking for. So I'm sure that those things were specifically selected because they knew they weren't in there. Number one. Number two, they said the lead. The lead, they said, yeah, that was a little high, but it's within EPA's range.
Yeah, like we were talking with Dr. Will. Before you go back to it, let me just throw this in there. Right after Fukushima happened, okay, all that radiation was basically coming from Fukushima Daiichi, and maybe a lot of people don't remember that, but that was basically after that tsunami in Japan.
Right.
The Fukushima Daiichi plant, I think I'm pronouncing that right. One of the only people out there that was actually talking about it was John B. Wells, and he was giving like weekly reports on what's going on over there. Take note, nobody's talking about Fukushima anymore, even though the last report I heard, there hasn't been a single killer whale born in the Pacific Northwest since that all happened, and all those radiation plumes were coming over to the United States of Amnesia. Instead of them saying, oh, the toxicity levels are up here, what they've done is just raise
Yeah.
The allowable.
Like EPA, I'm sure has raised the standards. Oh, this amount of lead used to be like bad before. We'll just raise it up. Well, I don't care what you think. What EPA thinks is great for lead, but I don't want any lead levels in any soil, in any water, even if it's not a drinking water source, even if it's just the French Broad River. It's not acceptable to have any lead levels in there.
It's like saying, yeah, man, we're just going to put just a tad bit of strychnine in your drink when you go to this restaurant. I mean, this is what they're doing, y'all. And I know we keep going on like a broken record on some of this stuff, but we have got to get this done. And folks, I'm going to break the doggone internet. I don't care what the consequences are, whether they scrub this channel. I really don't care. It's not going to be because, look, when you see an injustice being done, when you see lies being told, and strangely enough, people are just so willing to be spoon-fed these lies and willing to believe them regarding everything in our history, and we're not going to put up with it. So we're going to fight this fight. And we're at some point, I mean, Michelle, you've working on our nonprofit to try to have a place where I know a lot of people are asking, where can we donate and all this other stuff. We haven't asked for anything because we're trying to use every free method available to it. Look, I know everybody's struggling right now, and we're trying to do everything we can out of our own pocket, but we're not the Rockefellers. So this testing, I mean, just one test that we're responsible for is $5,000, just one test, because we don't know what we're testing for. So we got to test for the entire battery to find out. But Michelle, I did a video that that I can't possibly. If you go to my Patreon, I put it on there, folks. And I'm not doing this to try to run anybody to Patreon. If you are interested, it's $1. But I posted a video I did. It's like a 2.5-minute video with Dr. Will. And could I post this to the internet? Probably not.
You
no.
Can't.
And this is right after he did his test. And folks, I'm not going to repeat what he says here, but for as little as $1, you can see it on Patreon if you're that interested. Or ask somebody else who's a Patreon member. But Dr. Willett just got finished doing the testing. We were down there. He was already feeling sick. And
he was having symptoms. And yeah, I think all of us were. That was something was going on down there. I'm not sure what it was, but it smelled different down there that time.
Bizarre.
And he was having symptoms immediately when we showed up.
Yeah. And that's exactly, folks, I mean, the things that are going on and the cover up that's happening, they're not going to get away with it, because I don't care if I'm down to my last inch of skin. I will not let them get away with it. And then they go out here, when you have a company or a place called Mountain True, just in the name of it, it makes you think that the information they're going to present is just factual. Well, I'm telling you what, I'm going to call them out, and I'm going to tell you these people are frauds. Now, a lot of the people in the leftist department, they're not going to like me for it, but what's new? You don't like me anyway. Because, first of all, I'm brown, and I don't recognize that I'm a victim, because I'm not. In fact, I'm coming out swinging. I'm coming out with both barrels in this whole situation, and we're going to get to, in fact, hey, for all you people, you weirdo lefties, yeah, awake but not woke. That's what this shirt says. So getting down to brass tacks on all this, we're going to keep doing the testing. We're working on remediation strategies today. In fact, that's part of what I was working on today, was testing some of those strategies. So, folks, like I said, not this Wednesday coming up, but the one after that, Bear's going to reveal his results. The environmental engineer that came out, he's going to reveal his results. And Dr. Will or Pat Miletich, former UFC world champion, they're going to be on here to reveal their results as well. And then we're going to overlay that with the official results that we know are absolute hogwash. So just put that on your calendars right now. I would cover it sooner, but frankly, let's be honest, we live in the United States of amnesia. A lot of you folks out here look, you're either an activist or an inactivist. And a lot of you folks that are on here listening right now, you're the kind of people that put foot to butt. But by and large, to get this information seen and heard, if we do it before Thanksgiving, nobody's going to pay attention. Nobody's going to listen. Nobody's going to care. So that's why we're going to pick next Wednesday. Can't do it on a Monday because people are still, you never do a impactful program on a Monday following a holiday weekend. Tuesday's never good because people are still recovering. Wednesday, they're still getting back in the saddle again. So that's why it's going to be the Wednesday, not this one coming up, but it's going to be December 4th. And I want to say it's going to be 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for any anybody that's interested. And once again, if you're coming in, please hit that thumbs up, y'all. And I'm asking y'all, please, you've been coming through like nobody's business. Stay after it with the prayers, y'all. We need them. There's a lot of grifters out there, and we're trying to avoid those people. There's also a lot of people out there that come in acting as if they mean well, but meanwhile, folks, if you only knew some of the stuff that's going on behind the scenes, one of these days, hopefully I'll talk about it. But the enemy is throwing all kinds of stumbling blocks out there, but my heart ain't pumping Kool-Aid, and neither is yours. So we're going to come out swinging. All right, so on to other things. This last weekend, what was it? Saturday, Uncle Mud, he has a YouTube channel.
I think it was was it Friday?
No.
I think it was Friday night.
Friday. Yeah, it was Friday night. Yeah, Uncle Mud. Yeah, that's his name, y'all. I keep wanting to call him Uncle Ruckus, man, but his name is Uncle Mud. And he was teaching a class on rocket stoves. So we went out there to
Mandala Springs.
And
in Bernardsville, North Carolina.
And we've been to Bernardsville one time. I mean, just since the storm for an errand that we had to run and go check on some things. But we hadn't been to Mandala Springs. So it was at night when we were driving there, y'all. And the devastation was so flipping bad. We could see it at night driving down the roads. I mean, when you got concrete missing, when you got bridge abutments gone. I mean, I'm talking concrete abutments to a bridge. Do you know how bad it had to be? But you're telling me the death toll was 100 and some people. People's houses were destroyed. There was this one house. We went through kind of like the main part of Bernardsville, which we hadn't been to before. There was one house that was just completely shifted off of its foundation. And then there were other people, their house was still standing, but they can't live in it. They've got just tents outside of some of their houses. Well, judging by the debris piles, there were houses that were completely gone. I mean, just not even there anymore. Yeah. So, I mean, the devastation is real, y'all, and these folks ain't getting any help. This is why we are doubling down on preparedness on this channel. Now, I know I'm going to lose people along the way because fundamentally people want to see, a happy-go-lucky stories. And, I can inject humor when it's available or when it's possible. But by and large, I'm going to do everything I can to try to prepare people because after this election, just like I said before, every single time a Republican gets elected, as if there's a dime's worth of difference between them. I mean, just look at Trump's cabinet for crying out loud. They're all war hawks for the most part. That's another thing altogether. But point being, old boss, new boss, same as the old boss. Okay. So when you get down to brass tacks, if you think anything has changed, and first of all, if you think it is going to change, there's ever a slip between a cup and a lip, y'all. There's still time between now and the inauguration. And people are just like I predicted they would. If Trump got back in, I promised you, and this is a good thing for all you folks out there that are actually looking for land who are serious about this, all the people that got into this thinking, things suck. Okay, now that Trump's in, I'm going to go back on vacation again, and we're going to sell this land. Don't worry. Give it 6 months from now, maybe a year, you're going to be able to get land with a butterfly net, probably on the cheap from a lot of these people that are going to take that land and thinking, Trump's our savior, and they're going to go ahead and sell it. And you're going to be able to, swoop in there for all you people that couldn't find land. Just hold steady. Mark my words. It happens every single time. Well, anyway, we went out there, got some training from Uncle Mushroom.
It could be Uncle Mushroom.
Could have been, because on that same property, what were they doing with them frogs?
Everything. They were doing everything.
Earlier that day, I mean,
they were doing the frog ceremony where they take this whatever. I don't know what kind of a frog it was, but they take some sort of like liquid from this frog and put it on their skin and do some sort of ceremony. Basically, they start tripping, man. These people might have been out there smoking everything with their socks. But the bottom line, look, we weren't down for none of that. We just went to the rocket mass heater stove class. But when a lot of times when you go to this stuff, there's a whole bunch of other stuff going on at that place. And it's just, you can just feel it. When you go to a place like that, you can just feel the energy is not right.
Well, I mean, Michelle, I mean, I would speak directly because honestly, the discernment, the spiritual discernment was when we pulled up there that there was something not right. And
right, that's what I
you know,
said.
I mean, something dark, something not of this earth or not of this dimension or whatever the case may be. And that's one of the biggest complaints. I mean, I love where I live, y'all, but at the same time, you can't throw a rock without hitting a freaking Wiccan or witch. I mean, I'm dead serious. You can find a witch here 10 times easier than you can find a Christian. Or if you find somebody who proclaims to be a Christian, they dabble in witchcraft on the side. Folks, I kid you not. This is like the witch capital of the planet. And I've never seen, I mean, how crazy is it? We lived in both witch capitals. I mean, Manitou Springs, Colorado. We were there. And when we were stationed in the Army at Fort Carson. And then here we are out here where, you know, like I said, you can't throw a rock. I mean, I'm like, dude, can we just go to a class and do something without somebody wanting to make it creepy? I'm not down for that. So in the future, I'm gonna demonstrate a little more wisdom and discernment. And I would rather do without the training than be mixed up in a place where people are doing things that I'm just not cool with. Oh, that makes me a bad person, right? Oh, well, you know what? That's the United States for you, or supposed to be anyway. Well, the following day, speaking about tripping, we were out there learning about mushrooms.
Not the psilocybin type.
No, not the freaky kind, but you know, how to grow them. Folks, I'm doing exactly what I told y'all. All the holes in my game. If I see an opportunity to fix it, I am working on it right now. That's why I did that video the other day on the solar generator. And I'm going to be doing more of them. And I'm going to be talking about bikes here before too long. I planned on trying to do that today. But everything that deals with preparedness, I've kind of acquiesced on that. Like William talked a while back, just because so many people got into the space, and I'm thinking, okay, well, this is something that's definitely in my wheelhouse that I'm something of an expert in on the areas that I know about. And I got away from it because I let all the people that used to do homesteading, who know absolutely nothing about preparedness, start, you know, because they know the algorithms and they're like, buy these 10 things or you're going to die. Some of them channels that you almost certainly know about. And I've made fun of them in the past. I mean, and I make no apologies for it. You know, buy these 10 things or you're going to die kind of people. So I got away from it. But you know what? It's time to get back in. Just like a lot of people that I know that are into regenerative agriculture tend not to call it permaculture because a lot of the weirdos have taken that space over. I'm not playing that game. I'm rolling with it. If you don't like it, we can have a shootout any day. And I mean verbal, because somebody's going to take that literally. I mean, if you want to come on this program and debate me about it, you know what? Bring a lunch and practice falling down, because I'm gonna put you through the ringer, nephew, because I don't govern my decision making on feelings. It is, you know how close this channel came to be called pragmatic permaculture? Because believe it or not, permaculture is pragmatism, but it came that close to be called pragmatic permaculture because so many people are not doing it in the most pragmatic sense. That's why me and Eric Sider get along so well, because that's exactly how he rolls. But anyway, now we got the mushrooms under our belt. Now we have at least a decent understanding about how a rocket stove should operate. And so those are just over a weekend, y'all. That's all it takes. I mean, just a few hour class. And now you feel like, okay, now I feel like I can go out here and give this a shot, you know? I mean, you may not get it right. Now the mushrooms.
I don't know about the rocket stove. As far as like, I would have to do a few test runs on a rocket stove.
I feel pretty good about it. I mean, it's not like this is my first time with it. You know, I've bought some books on it. You know, I've seen videos. That makes me an expert, right? No, but the idea is to ultimately, and I have to get with Uncle Mud on this and see about how I can adapt something like that to a greenhouse. Because how cool would it be if you could do like radiant heating in a greenhouse and have things hopping and popping at a time of year where, you know, it's like super, super cold. So I got to get with him and find out if that's even possible, or has anybody done it before? I know I've seen videos on it, but that's really where I'd like to use it. I mean, I'm pretty happy with what we have in the house. And that buck stove, I mean, it heats everything. So I couldn't complain about that. And it's pretty efficient with wood. So, yeah, so we're rocking and rolling. All right, so some other things we got going on. We're doing experiments. Okay, so I had Pat Militich and I had Dr. Will. He was here on the farm, and he brought some products with him. And we're doing a bunch of experiments right now using some of his tech in terms of trying to remediate and clean up some awful things that are out there in the soil. We know we can do a lot of this through what we're using in composting, but we're also combining it with his tech, which uses extremophiles. Yeah, go look that up. Eric Sider, I gave him accidentally a bunch of homework. I'm sure Eric's looking them up right now. Extremophiles, and how these guys, by taking the right dog to the hunt, how these guys are basically eating up forever chemicals that mainstream science says can't be gotten rid of. And he's telling me they got tech that can do it, and I'm out here using it. Also got off the phone with another young man today. His name is Aaron, and he's got tech that can basically clear up chemtrails. And I'm working with him on that. He's got some other tech. These are citizen scientists, y'all. Just because a person has PhD behind his or her name doesn't give them a greater share of common sense than me or anybody out there in that audience. In fact, I knew a very well-known prominent doctor, so do you, apparently decent at what he did, but he was a walking nincompoop regarding everything else. So don't dismiss. I mean, where was Tesla's PhD?
Yeah, but there's also people who have come out with technologies. They've produced technologies, and big corporations or whoever, the government has bought them up and just shelved them because they didn't want, it was a threat to whatever industry. So there's people out there can do amazing things. They don't necessarily have to have any kind of education. Some people are just naturally talented at figuring out certain things, and they come up with solutions to things, but a lot of times those solutions are either destroyed or they get bought up and just put on a shelf.
Or they come up dead. I mean, just like Stan Myers.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy who basically had a car running on water. Where was his PhD? All these people, if you look at, man, I can't think of the name of the documentary right now, but it was done by Dr. Stephen Greer. It was his latest documentary. And if you look at all these people that have come up with free energy devices that have either come up dead or their families were threatened with murder, name one of them that was a PhD. Not one. So, I mean, like I said, where's Edison's PhD? Where was Tesla's PhD? All the most consequential people that have done incredible things were not educated. They were educated through the school. They were tinkerers like Ben Franklin talked about. That's exactly what they were. They didn't have PhDs. So don't think that just because this person has this title or whatever gives them a greater understanding. In many ways, it makes them more of a narrow thinker, and in many ways, dummies in so many different ways and unable to hear new information. So folks, it's kind of exciting. I wish it didn't have to be under these circumstances, but I'm working with a young 25-year-old who has tech and proof that he can clear up chemtrails. Don't worry, I'll bring him to you when the time is right. I'm going to try out his tech here before long, hopefully within a month. He also has tech that has cleaned up water. I mean, this is stuff that people are doing out there, but you're never going to hear it on the mainstream news. So these are people, I've asked the good Lord, please put me in the presence of the people that can actually get me answers on this. And I kid you not, Tag from Life Done Free had just texted me. Next thing you know, I'm talking to Dr. Will. Wasn't long after that, here I am talking with this 25-year-old who has proof that he is able to remove chemtrails with just one device on your property, and it covers for a mile. I mean, visual video proof that he's shown me. And I'm like, this is astonishing. Also has other devices that can clean up water from rivers and stuff like that. It sounds like it's woo-woo to a lot of people out there, but you know what? Me believing that a man died for my sins and was risen again and is at the right hand of the Father, that seems like woo-woo to a lot of people out there too. So I'm going to get criticized. Look, just like Shakespeare said, man, I'll suffer those slings and arrows. You go ahead and hit me with your best shot. Criticize me all you want. but I'm looking for results. This is a results-based thing that we're after. And the good Lord, I think, has put all of these incredible people in front of me. And I can't wait to tell the world about what they're doing, but I got to be able to show the goods. And that's why we're doing a lot of experiments right now. And today was one of those days where it was really enjoyable because I was out with my shirt off most of the day. Yeah, don't get excited, ladies. I'm taking, okay? Yeah, I was out there, grounding. Sun was shining, low 60s, but whatever. I'm out there getting some sun, and I'm feeling great, feeling like $1 million, getting things done. And so this is exactly what I'm talking about, man. We're doing these experiments. We're getting these things done. It's just going to take a little bit of time, even though a lot of other people, well-meaning people that are out here trying to remediate what's going on, and they're doing ready, fire, aim instead of first. To my knowledge, we're the only ones out here that have privately done tests, all 3 of them. So stay tuned for some of that too. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, tomorrow, y'all, you definitely want to be tuning in. So I'm going to have on the show Jonathan Otto. Last program, we gave away, what is it, $4,000 solar generator? Well, Jonathan Otto does a whole lot of incredible stuff. Like I said, y'all, everything I'm doing is about preparedness, but look, it's got to start with you. When you're on that airplane and you lose cabin pressure, what do? You put on your mask first, right? So he's going to be on tomorrow night. He's going to be talking about all of these incredible, free, unbelievable solutions. And then if you do have the money, you can buy some that are more advanced. He's going to be talking about how you can make yourself cancer-proof. That's basically what we're going to be talking about on here. And some of the Jonathan Otto is like world famous. He's going to be talking about some of this stuff. And here's one of the cool parts is he's going to be giving away a lot of stuff. When I was on the phone with him the other day, doing a pre-interview, I was like, hey man, we had these folks on here, gave away a lot of stuff. You probably get folks' attention if you give away something. So he's apparently going to try to one-up them, and he's going to be giving away a lot of stuff. So have your permaculture trivia handy. And maybe, I don't know where I'll go. Whatever pops into my cabeza, I'm going to break out there. But he's even going to be giving away, like a $800 red light. I think the grand prize is going to be like an $800 red light therapy device. So, and they're not all made the same, y'all. These red light therapy devices, they got different nanometers of wavelength in these different things. And there's a lot of knockoffs out there, and people are selling a lot of junk. And I looked it up. That's why I reached out to him, because I looked at him and I was like, man, he's got the best red light therapies devices out there for the price. Normally they want twice as much, and he's selling them for about half as much. And he's got all the right wavelengths of red light therapy, but you don't need that. He's going to be talking about all the other things you can do to help make yourself cancer proof. So tune in tomorrow night, and more and more, anybody that gets on the show, if I can have them do some kind of giveaway to thank you guys for spending all your time. I can't thank you enough. We're going to basically do as many as we can. And if they come on the show, if they're able to do it, not everybody's able to do that. We're going to try to do it as best we can, especially as we're getting around the holidays for a lot of people. And speaking of holidays, I'm going to be going live. Let's see, today's Monday. Every day's Monday, it seems, as of late, but I'm going to be going live today, tomorrow, and the following day. And on Wednesday, I'm going to have one of the kids who's probably going to shoot all kinds of holes into the arguments of all these people that say there's nothing going on out there. He's got a YouTube channel, and he's local, and he's been hitting all these disaster areas, and he's going to tell you about the incredible work that he's doing and some of the inspiration that he might have even gotten from some of us. He's out there doing fantastic work. And man, I want to give a shout out to all you young people out there who are taking this ball, even though my generation, by and large, seems to have dropped the ball. So many people out there, like the 25-year-old that I can't reveal his name just yet, who is out here inventing things, rediscovering old tech that worked. Like Dr. Stephen Greer said, we had solar panels back in the 1930s, like Michelle said, that were shelved because anything more than 20-some% efficiency, they basically either buy up the patents or they keep them from even hitting the market, y'all. It's cold-blooded what they got going on. But you got people that have basically developed things that were way more efficient years ago, carburetors years ago that would go 200 miles a gallon. You know, we got this text. Stanley Myers, who they murdered, had a car running on water. All these, I mean, there's a long list of people that have come up with free tech or free energy, and it exists out there. Just like Jesse Ventura said, do you think the combustion engine over the last 100 and some years is the best we've got? No, not by a country mile. 30 miles to the gallon is the best we can do. Not even close. No. And folks, we're going to have to wake up and hopefully bring in some of these incredible people out here to help remediate what we got going on here. If there's a way to get rid of chemtrails around here, believe me, I'm all over it. And then also this kid, not like I said, cleaning up water. And then plus, as far as RF poisoning, he's very RF sensitive. I mean, this kid has invented all kinds of stuff that you'll never see in the mainstream. So I feel really, really lucky and fortunate to be able to get with these folks. I mean, man, I couldn't be more happy. So how's it going with your nonprofit?
Good. As far as we got the state level documents all squared away. So now I'm working on the federal level, which is like 40 pages long. So there's your government efficiency for you.
Yeah, there you go. Yep. So yeah, folks. I mean, you know what it is. I'm not going to belabor it. I have a big diatribe just up here, right here on government and how we don't need it, but I'm going to save it for another time because I've gone entirely too long. One other thing I want to point out. Okay, for the longest time, from the time we started this YouTube channel till now, I think I lost a total of about 73 pounds. I started out at about 240, and now I'm like walking around at about 168 or something like that. And you think I'm too skinny, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to start eating.
Well, you know, I'm out jogging for an hour every day too. So, you know, but that's part of it. I mean, it the way I'm doing it honestly gives me all kinds of energy. But yeah, I need to start putting on some muscle. But for the longest time, I haven't eaten wheat, sugar, you name it. And then we were over at Jason and Lorraine's house doing that pig processing a while back. And Lorraine, see, I know that I'm safe to eat anything over their house because Jason has a diet that's very similar to mine, and Lorraine cooks around that diet. So anything Lorraine cooks, I know that I can eat because Jason's eating it. And so I know he's can't fool around with wheat and sugar and stuff like that. But she made these einkorn. What was it?
She makes einkorn shortbread or not shortbread, cornbread.
Well, it turns out it ain't the wheat that's the problem.
Yeah, she makes a bunch of. If she bakes something, it's probably einkorn.
Yeah, so we had some einkorn that was given to us. Michelle made some biscuits out of it. And I'm like, man, I
didn't make biscuits out of it.
Yeah, you did.
First time. A while ago. Yeah, they didn't turn out though.
They turned out for me because you noticed they disappeared real quick.
Yeah, but they weren't.
Well, folks, what I'm saying is that if you think you have gluten sensitivity, you probably do. You probably have a glyphosate sensitivity. Probably all of us do. And what I'm found out over the last couple of days is you've made what was it?
Einkorn
muffins,
blueberry muffins. The biscuits were sourdough.
Okay,
they weren't einkorn.
So I know I can do sourdough, but the cool thing is that the einkorn, for those out there who, or especially around the holidays, I'm trying not to eat too much of this stuff. But every time it gets cold, somebody just has to bake, and you know, I don't want her to feel as if I'm ungrateful, so I feel obligated to eat it. But anyway, no problems at all with einkorn. And I'll be honest with you, I couldn't tell the difference. I mean, it was great. It was fantastic. It was like cool to eat some kind of bread again, but I didn't have any nasty reaction.
Also, like when I eat just regular flour, gluten type stuff from the store, just your standard stuff, non-organic, all-purpose flour stuff, it triggers a reaction where it's like I start eating and then I don't want to stop eating. It does something. I don't know what it does.
Well, you can't tell the difference, woman. You got more curves than a goat pass. I mean, ain't nobody complaining.
No, but I notice that's what happens, but I don't get that way with einkorn.
All right. Keep putting it all in the right places, baby. Boom, 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 boom.
Never mind.
No, and plus, honestly, it makes her a little bit crazy, and me too. If I commence to, don't look at me like that. You know, I'm telling the doggone truth. Every time you sit here and eat something off the shelf, I mean, it's like, who was the guy that said, I think you should eat anything you want if you make it?
No, I still don't think you should eat anything you want if you make it. That doesn't.
I'm about to this next weekend, and I'll come to that here in a minute. But one more thing before, I know we spent a lot of time right here in the farm news, because honestly, this is important stuff. I think that's going to affect everybody. And y'all, I hate to say it, man, there's exciting news. I'm hoping and praying it's going to come loose. And I'm hoping to bring some of this tech to the table. Call me crazy all you want, but if I got the receipts, what are you going to say about it? So, yeah. So whether it's coming from the soil area, whether it's coming from the sky, whatever the case may be, look, I'm going to work with anybody out there who has tech that can clear this stuff up. And if you know anybody, point them in my direction, because I want to talk to them. And I want to let everybody out here know. That's why I'm having Jonathan Otto on tomorrow. That's exactly why when the time's right, he's going to come on this show, but he's going to give me one of his devices. I'm going to give it the old college try. And folks, I kid you not. He sent me a video, Michelle. I'll have to show it to you. He sent me a video. Man, I hate to keep on about this, but folks, I'm not joking here. You got a plane going across the sky, leaving the trail. It stops because he has a device that'll basically cover a mile around your place. It stops and then picks up about the same distance on the other side. Like there's a blue sky above him, but everywhere else you can see this haze.
Has he told anybody else about his stuff? Or
well, it's not just him. There's other people doing this kind of work, but they're so underneath the table, and these things are very laborious. They're very difficult to make. And he said there's also, some other components that he has to throw in it as well. So they're difficult to make. And it was crazy here when he was telling me about this thing today, partially of where he got the inspiration for this. Believe it or not, I was going through, like when I'm doing my deep breathing, I'm doing my Bible study, right? So I'm listening to this part in Exodus where they're giving the instructions on basically how to put everything together, and he's telling me on the phone today that that's basically the inspiration where he found out how he should put some of this stuff together. Man, it blew my mind when this kid was done. I will show you this video. It will absolutely positively blow your mind. And what this kid's able to do is, look, it's fascinating. And I can't wait to tell everybody out there and I'm like, do you do workshops? And, I'm trying to get him to show other folks how to do this if he's willing to do it. Or if you sell them, man, I'll buy it.
I think a lot of people would buy them.
Yeah. it's the craziest thing I ever seen. Well, I've seen crazier. I've been to 3 county fairs and the hog calling, man, but I ain't ever seen chemtrails just open up above, a mile on either side of the guy's house. But that's another thing altogether. Okay, so one more thing, and then we'll go into the good news. So you and I watched a documentary last night. It was called Occupied from Stu Peters. I don't know who's watched it or who's going to watch it, but I'll put it this way. If you do watch it, there was a couple of times I even got choked up. So if you go to stupeters.com and you check it out, this is going to give you information. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm not going to tell you what it's about, but it's called Occupied. And if you watch it and you've been indoctrinated like I've been most of my life regarding certain segments of our society, this is going to catch you off balance. Some of this stuff, if you go through, check every single fact, it turns out a lot of it's correct. So I'm going to leave it up to you to go check that out if you find it interesting. But yeah, that's what we watched last night. So we made time to watch it. All right, coming up this weekend coming up. Yeah, November 30th, Western North Carolina Homestead Meetup. That's going to be from 11 to 4. And that's going to be at 15 Cane River Church Road. Can we put that in the description?
Yeah, we did.
Okay, so
it's on the videos and it's in the podcast.
Man, I wish I brought my doggone phone up here because Shane or Shane's main squeeze, she sent me a text. What's so funny? Are you my main squeeze?
As if there's side ones.
Okay, yeah, there's a whole story there as far as Michelle. It is an expression.
It's not a good expression.
It's
like a lot of those expressions that you say that you Probably shouldn't say.
They
don't make any sense.
Okay, she grew up in a part of New York, y'all, and I kid you not, one person in her family gets figurative language.
Whatever.
Not one person.
Whatever.
If you make a reference from a 80s movie that ain't Dukes of Hazzard, I mean, she thought the Beverly Hillbillies was a documentary, y'all. So I'll just
even like the Beverly Hillbillies.
Of course, you were like, what's so? Everybody thought it was funny. You're the only one that didn't think it's funny.
It's not funny.
Yeah,
like I said, put it in there.
She thought it was a documentary, but I'm telling the truth, and you know I am.
No,
she came from Pennsylvania.
That's where you came from.
Yeah. Well, anyway, how did I get all sideways on this? Anyway, Western North Carolina Homestead Meetup. That's going to be from 11 to 4, and that's going to be on November 30th. I think that's this Saturday. Man, really looking forward to that. There's some folks I really want to see and some new folks that I haven't met yet that I can't wait to see. And Shane sent me, he's going to have his food truck out there. So come hungry. He's got his brunch menu on point. And they showed me the menu. And I'm telling you right now, I'm going to walk out of there looking like that little fat yellow Pokemon. I'm coming out of retirement when it comes to whatever I got
whatever he's got. It doesn't matter.
I didn't even get to fool with those Belgian waffles he made that last time. But whatever's coming off that truck, y'all, is money. Now, I'll just leave it right there. I wish I'd have brought my other phone because she sent me the menu. And I was like, dude, you care enough to make a menu? And they got the $1 million pork is on the menu.
$1 million swine.
$1 million swine. And I don't know if he's going to make any. Hey, Shane, if you're listening, make some of that. He made this sauce called pimp sauce, and it's made out of the honey that we produce right here. Folks, I put it on everything. I put it on biscuits. I put it on the roast she made tonight.
I put any of his, I think it's his sauces are what, I mean, all of his food is good, but his sauces, I really wish he would bottle and sell his sauces because he came up with this mustard. I don't know what it was. It was the best mustard.
Oh, man.
There was a horseradish truffle cream. I was putting those were two things I was putting on everything.
And she's getting all mad at me because I tried to get into the mustard.
No.
And she's like, that's mine, you know? So anyway, Shane is going to be out there. Oh, and I guess I should talk about, hey, he's going to be covering some communications, but back to the food truck. Shane's going to do a little bit of talking about that. But honestly, the bigger idea to this thing is, and I'm hoping it becomes something of a movement, is that we go out here. Number one, all of us people that are into permaculture, preparedness, practical living, homesteading, you name it, you fall anywhere under that umbrella. I'm hoping you go out here so we can all, get to meet one another. No rock stars, no nobody. I ain't nobody just because I'm sitting behind this microphone. I ain't nobody. We all get to meet each other. And then you get to build mutual assistance groups, maybe change contact numbers. Maybe we all get together and figure out, maybe we ought to figure out some communication strategies next time something jumps off, because it ain't a matter of if, it's when. Or just knowing that there's somebody else out there that you can have conversations about whatever that you can't do even among your family and some of the other places. And I'll leave, I'll circle back to this food truck. Some of you people are going to eat some jacked up food on Thanksgiving that you didn't want to eat. You're going to go over somebody's house, or, I don't know what the scenario may be. You may be going over Aunt Myrtle's place and you're going to eat some cookies that taste like mothballs. I don't know what it is. Make it up to yourself and go eat some real grub that's going to be on Shane's truck, because that's exactly how I'm telling. You're going to think I'm a total pig out here. So let me just go ahead and break it to you right now. There ain't anything on that left side of the menu that I'm not going to eat. I'm eating all of it. I'm dead serious. And then I'm getting stuff to go. So that's how it's going to go. But honestly, the coup de grace to all this is, number one, Shane's going to do a brief class on the importance of communication, but more importantly, we're all going to get to hang out with one another. So if you're anywhere near Burnsville, North Carolina, I want to give a hat tip to Ben and Denise over at Renewed Homestead, because had they not come through on this, I'm not sure we had a plan B, or Shane had a plan B, because we were initially going to be in Spruce Pine, and the people out there didn't want all the people out there, and who even knows. So anyway, once again, November 30th, Western North Carolina Homestead Alliance, 11 to 4 p.m., 15 River Came Road. That's in Burnsville, North Carolina. and it'll be cool to see a lot of y'all out there. So I'm looking forward to that. And then also coming up, Mountain Readiness is going to be May 2nd through the 4th. And I'm going to be there. Bear Independence going to be there. Provided we still got to plan it, because it seems like these fools are trying to kick off World War III. So the idea being, folks, I mean, if as far as training goes, as far as a festival, I don't know that there is a festival out there that is more suited to preparedness training than Mountain Readiness. And it's the best festival you've never heard about. Guarantee it. Not sure what I'm going to be teaching out there, but I can tell you this, it's going to be off the chain. And guess what? Shane's probably going to be out there with the truck again. In fact, you can ask, T that runs Mountain Readiness, you can ask him. The number one lure that got me back out there the second time, I said, is Shane going to be there with that truck? Is he bringing fries? Is
that's
it fryer
the requirement. If Shane's not going to be there, you're not going.
If Shane ain't showing up with that truck, y'all, I ain't coming. So, I mean, honestly, I remember just eating his fries the first time, and I'm thinking, man, how does somebody make fries taste this good? I don't even know.
I don't want to know.
He could put his feet in it. I don't even care, man. If it tastes that good, I don't even care. And this sausage will, man, the sauce he puts on those fries will just, okay, I need to quit. All right. So let's go on to the good news. So right off the bat, won't spend a lot of time here because I killed a lot of time doing what we were doing. Want to get down to the main event. So high levels of physical fitness linked to lower dementia risk in those with genetic predisposition. So that's why I'm out jogging for an hour every day. Okay, y'all. That's part of it. But honestly, do you have to? Check this out. People like Dr. Dispenza, Joe Dispenza, excuse me. Check this out. They took like a bunch of they were maids, like Hispanic maids that were working in.
They were cleaning.
Yeah.
They were cleaning hotel rooms.
Yeah, they were cleaning hotel rooms. And here's the experiment they did. So they told one half of them, hey, you know what? You're burning this many calories just by walking these floors and doing the job you're doing. Didn't tell the other group anything. And the ones that they told that were now aware that they were, just by virtue of moving all day, that they were doing fantastic things for their bodies, they checked their health markers and they were off the charts just by the awareness of knowing that they're doing it. So if you're out doing a construction job, let's say you're a roofer, man, look at it in a different length. I mean, it honestly, what you got going on up here makes all the difference in the world. Let's say you're at a job, walk the stairs, man. And then just know consciously, hey, I am doing fantastic things for myself while I'm doing this. So, you can incorporate these things into your job. If you're a farmer like I am, when I'm out here, because look, they make an ATV that'll get around out here, but A, I can't afford it. And B, I ain't tearing up my pasture. So that means we got to use our BMWs, and that's boots made for walking everywhere around here just to make this stuff work right. So if you're conscious of it, believe it or not, it makes all the difference in your physical fitness. Here's another one. New study of 100 or 10,000 plus people revealed that regular physical activity is linked to larger and healthier brains. All right. So what does that tell you? Same thing. This is one article that's linked to the other. And I thought, okay, yeah, man, one kind of goes with the other. So you could also be thinking, as I'm doing this, man, I'm really doing wonderful things for my body. But at the same time, like, I told y'all before, I'm memorizing the whole book of Psalm, okay? And so far, I'm up to 8 Psalms that I know by heart, okay? Now, that's part of my training, my mental training, but it's also part of my spiritual training too as well. Because I may not always have the Bible in front of me, but if I got it up here, well, it's mine until it ain't there, you dig? So not only am I doing more with the physical exercise, I'm also reciting back every single day, every single psalm I know, and then learning a new verse every day. You know what I mean? So it all links together. That's part of your brain health, is memorizing things, doing little things like brush your teeth with your opposite hand. That makes, it creates new pathways in your mind. Learn to juggle, things like that. I was working on the juggling thing and I was getting a little bit better, but I got sick and tired messing up my back, trying to pick them balls up off the floor. So need to get back to that. And then I got smart, started trying to juggle over the bed and just spend 5-10 minutes doing it every day. things like that. And they all go together. And that physical exercise, just be conscious about what it is you're doing, and it makes all the difference in the world. Okay, third good news article. Singing or playing music throughout one's life is linked with better brain health while you age. Well, depending on what your voice sounds like, you might want to keep it to yourself. I got one brother. He's the only person in the world that I ever heard that can sing in half falsetto. Half. It is the most bizarre sound you ever heard in your life.
But he loves to sing.
He's singing all the time, and I'm like, oh my goodness. It's like a combination of Peter Cetera and El DeBarge. I ain't seen nothing or heard anything like this, but he's probably, I mean, there's other things he's doing that's probably kicking it the other way. I mean, probably, I mean, you know, taking all the antibiotics and everything else he's doing is probably
microwaving his food for
take
10
warm
minutes.
food. You serve this dude warm food, and I swear he will put it in the microwave for 10 minutes. And I'm like, what are you doing, man?
You just killed everything.
I mean, you just by putting it in the microwave, you killed everything. I'm like, if there was any life in that food, bro, it is gone. Yeah, I mean, we put the funk and dysfunctional in my family. Ain't no doubt about that one. So anyway, yeah, singing or playing music throughout your life. I've been trying, on my wrist, everybody keeps asking me what this thing is. I can't tell you yet. And I'm trying to get the folks who let me use it on the podcast. I'm like, okay, man, I've taken this thing for a test drive. I've been wearing it in every single video because I literally use it every day. You know why? Because it has about 1,000 different settings on it. And one of them is solfeggio frequencies. And whenever I listen to music or whatever, honestly, when I listen to worship music, I can't listen to that modern stuff. I just can't do it. It's like country music. Love the old stuff. Can't listen to this new stuff. And it ain't even country no more. I'm listening to like Keith Green. Some of you folks might know who I'm talking about. It's fantastic music, but it's fantastic uplifting music, but it's not this stuff that all sounds exactly the same on the radios. So with these frequencies, I'm getting hit with solfeggio frequencies as I'm doing this podcast right now. So not only am I grounded, while I'm recording this right now, but also I'm hitting my body with solfeggio frequencies. So every little biohack out there, I'm putting them to the test. So I'm trying to get these folks on the show. I'm like, okay, I reached out to you to let me take this thing for a test drive. Okay, I realize it works. You want to come on the show and talk about it? So that also links in with this article too, because if you listen to music that is in a solfeggio frequency, folks, I'm not going to do all the work for you, but if you can go out there and just look into what a solfeggio, SELFE, solfeggio, man, sound it out.
GIO.
Yeah, it works out. Just look into it and the benefits of it, and find music out there that was recorded in the old frequencies, because prior to I want to say 1938, everything was recorded generally in 444 hertz, which is a solfeggio tone. Then all of a sudden, Heinrich Himmler and a number of other henchmen coming out of Nazi Germany changed it to 440, which is a very dissonant tone. Does it seem a coincidence? I ain't saying this caused it, but wasn't long afterwards, bam, World War II kicks off. And to this day, everything you hear on that radio is recorded in 440 hertz. And it is not meant to soothe your mind or your heart. You think that's an accident? So to go out there, there's actual entire websites and YouTube channels dedicated to playing music in healing frequencies. And there's like 7 of, or I don't know, I think it's 9 solfeggio frequencies. I even have an overlay. I've talked about it before on this program, where I've talked about what I've done, where I've recorded the book of Psalms being read, and at the same time, solfeggio music playing in the background. This is what you can go to sleep to. Folks, it works like $1,000,000. That one I invented myself. I didn't invent either one. I guess I invented the idea of putting them together. So I had a sound engineer. Actually, he's the engineer for the Firmamental podcast. Claude, want to give a hat tip to Claude. Thank you. Reached out to him, paid him to basically make that possible for me. And I've overlaid Max McLean reading the book of Psalm with solfeggio nighttime frequencies. So you can go to sleep doing this. And folks, that's one of those things that I hope to do where I can't use anybody else's proprietary stuff because it would be just frankly wrong. So what I'm going to do in the future, hopefully maybe I'll read it myself or get William and his good baritone voice to read. And at the same time, I was thinking about maybe making it a download that we could have at the website that people could download and either listen to it. Folks, I'm telling you, it will change everything about your day. Even you don't have to go to sleep on it, but even if you just feel like you're out of whack, or your boss is driving you crazy, or your spouse is driving you crazy, and you just need to go get away for a minute. So maybe you lay on the ground a minute, you just do a little bit of deep breathing, and maybe you listen to this thing we put together. It's little hacks like that I'm trying to, put together so it could be a mutual blessing for everybody. So it would be a gift from me to you, but I got to be able to find the bandwidth to do that. I'll be honest with y'all. There's a whole lot of other things I intended to do that I'm not doing because my number one focus has got to be on soil remediation around here because frankly, nobody else is doing it. And if they are, they're not doing it effectively. So just pray that we have the bandwidth to open that up and we can get folks out there to, get squared away on that. All right. I thought I had a download from Eric, but I don't. Sorry about that, Eric. He even hit me up today. I thought we had an extra. Well,
I'm not saying we don't have an extra. It would take a while for me to figure it out.
Yeah. So we don't have anything from Eric today. So, yeah. Sorry about that, Eric, because it's my favorite part of the show. All right, y'all. EMP Shield, $50 off with promo code PERMA. The number one threat to your home is lightning. Lightning. Well, up until we decided to go ahead and give Ukraine missiles that go bomb Russia with, now it might be an EMP. So EMP Shield out there, y'all. It's, like I said, your number one threat right now, for now, is lightning. And if anything gets past it downstream, they're going to cover you for 25 Gs. That's why I reached out to them. No advertiser here has reached out to me. I reach out to them. And if it works, I'll let y'all know about it. If it doesn't, then I won't. So, yeah, they're fantastic. So get $50 off with promo code PERMA. All right, so let's get down to brass tacks here. So a lot of folks, we're getting into what folks call the holiday season. And the reason I'm not broadcasting on Thursday, by the way, is I do broadcast on Christmas. I do broadcast on the only holidays I celebrate is 4th of July and Thanksgiving. And I got my reasons for that. I'm not criticizing anybody else that celebrates these other holidays. I don't have a problem with them. I just don't do it. And most government holidays, Thanksgiving, I celebrate for very personal reasons. 4th of July, it's because I'm a man and I like to blow stuff up. Okay? So let's just keep it real. And also, I love the idea that, for the first time in history, think about this. Reason why it's 4th of July, because somebody's naturally going to ask. Well, you think about the founding of this country. Think about this. For the first time in human history, it was okay for a person like me or a person like you to own property and defend it with a firearm. Do you have any idea how revolutionary that idea was? I could go through, I could tell you all 10, the Bill of Rights from the top of my head, okay? I can do that right now, but that's not what I want to get into. Just think about what I just said there. For the first time in human history, a person born in low status, like myself, could own property and defend it with a firearm. That is how far we've fallen, okay? We've forgotten that. Yeah. So in the preamble to our Constitution, it says, secure these blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. Problem is, the posterity forgets about those blessings of liberty, you dig? So, yeah. I'm not going to belabor that, but naturally somebody's going to ask. All right. So thinking about holiday gift ideas, and I'm like, okay, well, not going to be able to cover this over the next days, and Black Eye Friday is going to be here before long. So before we watch all the videos of people losing their teeth at a Walmart, I'm going to go ahead and give you a list of what I think are some good. Now, by no means is this comprehensive because I didn't want to put down 50 items. But if you're looking for that gift for the person all about preparedness in your life, consider some of these. Because honestly, it would get somebody's attention. How many years ago when we were still kind of in the Matrix, I don't know that we ever really were, but like so many other people, we were out there going, not broke over Christmas, but we were spending a lot of money. And I'm like, this is stupid. What happened? Man, we watched that episode of Little House on the Prairie, and Paul gets a pair of socks and he's overjoyed, you know? I'm like, oh no, that's exactly how we're doing it from here on out. Either we ain't getting, you gets nothing, or you're going to get something that's useful or something basic, you know? I remember I'd get clothes and stuff or whatever for Christmas. And it tells you how much of a spoiled brat all of us were, because I'm like, man, I really wanted that G.I. Joe with a Kung Fu grip, man. I'm not getting that. Man, we get clothes. You can't play with these. But, you know, it's things like that. But anyway, solar charger. And I'm talking about one of those ones that might be a little compact, one that might help with your phone. We got one in every vehicle. And you want a charge cord for that as well. So I'm talking like a mini solar charger, because that makes all the difference in the world if you find yourself in a bind and you need it. And plus, there's a lot of them out there that have multi-functions where you can also use them as flashlights. Number 2, this ain't a gag gift, but I thought that it could be. Beans and rice. Okay, so either give somebody beans and rice or give them 5-gallon buckets in Mylar bags. Dead serious. I'm dead serious. I mean, folks, y'all think I'm crazy. Go out there, buy 5 buckets, and then give them 5 Mylar bags. Don't even tell them what it's for.
They're gonna be, unless they're another prepper family, they might not be happy with you.
Well, maybe you're sending a shot over the bow, because my best friend, he's on vacation right now in Europe, and they can afford to do it. But he was telling me about a guy that works for him from time to time. They just put up a trailer out in this part of Oklahoma, and they're heading off to Branson. He says, well, I thought you were getting a well put in. And they said, no, we really need to spend that money on a vacation. You ain't got no water at your house, dude. And you're going to Branson. Yeah, when the going get tough, I guess the tough go to Branson. But anyway, yeah, they're going to think it's a gag gift, but give them beans and rice, and don't even put it in the buckets. Because if you even do that much for them, y'all, I mean, people are just too doggone lazy. Just give them buckets and Mylar bags, or just give them some beans and rice. Don't even, just leave it there. Yeah, boy, you talk about a stocking stuffer there. Just got some 5-gallon buckets hanging over the fireplace. So some water filtration and storage. So consider some of that stuff too. Yeah, there's a lot of filtration devices. I mean, life straws and all kinds of stuff, you know, where they're big, they're small. I mean, there's a lot of good ones out there in the market. And also water storage. So instead of a 5-gallon bucket, maybe you got them a 55-gallon drum. I mean, folks, you can get out cheap on this Christmas. I'm dead serious, man. You can get you can get everything you need off of Craigslist, right? Okay, number 4, a multi-tool. Right here even in this studio, you will never catch me without a means to start a fire, multiple means, right? You can't see it in this black background. I put it up against my shirt. I got a knife and I got a multi-tool, okay? Never go anywhere without them. And I mean anywhere. If I'm flying, I'll have a carry-on just so I can bring these things on board, okay? So I use them every single day. And you never know when you might need them. Even if you work in an office environment, I mean, you just never know. I mean, always have these things on you. So a multi-tool and a knife, okay, you know, it's a little more, you know, it's a little more sexy than a bucket, but, you know, they're probably going to like you a little bit more. Number 5, bullets. And this is for everybody out there. Go get them a box of 22s, okay? Everybody goes on about these different calibers. Now, I know a lot of guys are going to lose their minds over this stuff, but I'm telling you what, 22 is more useful than pretty much any weapon out there. Number 1, I know that if I shoot something with a 22, I can be a terrain feature away, and by and large, most people are not going to hear it, okay? You get a higher caliber, they're going to know that somebody fired something, but with a 22, I can stay within, and it's not hard to make it subsonic. I'm not going to talk about it here, but with a 22, you can go ahead and get a lot done. You can get a headshot on certain animals and bring them down. I mean, it's not my preferred way to go hunting, but also somebody says, well, it doesn't have any stopping power. Okay, you ever been shot by a BB and how much that hurts, or a pellet? You shoot a man with a 22, especially if it's a hollow point, because I can tell you right now, a 22 hollow point makes a hole as big as a 9mm ball. Ask me how I know. So, it won't stop anybody. What? Okay. What do you think the mob used to use for hits up close? 22 and 38. 22 9 times out of 10. So yeah, it's a pretty good. So don't buy them the weapon. Just buy them the bullets. Even though they don't have the weapon, now they feel compelled to go do it. Number 6, fire starter or a solar oven. I got these under the same thing. Solar oven can be used to cook tactically. Everybody's thinking, well, I'll just start a fire. Yeah, you never wonder why soldiers don't start fires? It's because it's not tactical. It's not tactical. When you're at night, first of all, especially when you've been fasting, if you're hungry, your senses go on like autopilot. And when you're fasting, your sense of smell becomes more acute. And obviously, visually, you're going to see a fire. When it's perfectly dark around, you're going to see a fire. So that's where the solar oven comes in. Okay. So if you do this right, it's aiming back at the sun, and you can camouflage that thing to where it's not going to stick out like a sore thumb. So if you got to cook, a fire is not the ideal way in a tactical environment. And trust me, things get stupid. That just became a tactical environment. So starting a fire, there's a reason why soldiers, no matter how cold it gets, 9 times out of 10, unless it was like in the Ardennes forest in World War II or in Korea, certain times there, and it's never going to be out in the field. So just consider that. Number 7, a bug out bag. This is tricky because you should always, like Bobby Spags always has been teaching for years, the worst thing you can do is pack somebody else's bug out bag because you don't know what they need in it. You got to, on your bug out bag, you have got to have things that are exclusive to you. But if you were to give them a little go bag, like what we used to call a 3-day pack, where there's some basic stuff in there, it might be helpful. So yeah, they're going to be a little less disappointment on a bug out bag than with a couple of buckets. But maybe you got an uncle out there who's always dogging you about your preparedness. This is another way to kind of stick it to them. Number 8, first aid kits, and I would include chlorine dioxide in it. Yeah. Bare Independent sells probably the best first aid kits you're ever going to find. So go to Refuge Medical or Grindstone Ministries. Don't worry, you'll find your way there. First aid kits also include some chlorine dioxide. I don't go anywhere without it. The more and more I've learned about this stuff, and the more, when it cured that food poisoning of mine in 30 minutes, folks, I was a believer right then and there. So never go anywhere without it. DMSO, you might want to consider that too. All right, number 9, a sapper handbook. Yeah, you may not be a sapper, but go get yourself a sapper handbook. There's a ranger handbook, but I think the sapper handbook is better because you're going to learn things in there that you're not going to get in a ranger handbook. You get everything you got in a ranger handbook plus a bunch more. So sapper handbook is a really good one out there too. Not even sure where you go. I'm sure they're not hard to find.
Yeah, I'm sure you could just do a search on the internet and it'll pop up.
Yep. Sapper handbook is going to have way more information in it. Things that apply more in a preparedness environment than you're ever going to find in a ranger handbook. And there's going to be a lot of things in there that may not apply to you, especially when it comes to demolition. Yeah, but it is kind of handy to have some of that stuff around. And number 10 in my top 10 list, this is like a David Letterman top 10 list. Number 10, weapons. So I'm going to recommend you either give them the weapons or you give them the bullets, but you don't give them both because they're never going to do anything with it. But if you give them one or the other, they're going to feel compelled to go get the other half of it, okay? It's like peanut butter without the jelly, ham without the burger. You dig? You're going to need to put all these things together. So if you give them half of that, I got a feeling they might feel just a tad bit compelled to go out there and get the other half of it. So therein lies my top 10 list. So, oh my goodness, I got to get closer up on this screen. Well, I'm sure I missed a whole lot of comments in here. Michelle, is there anything we need to address? If anybody has any questions, go ahead, or anything you'd like to add to that list. I mean, obviously, this by no means is a comprehensive list, but I wanted to put together something that the problem is folks, when you do things like I used to give away butchery courses and not one person would show up. Not one person would show up. And then all of a sudden, because they think it's worthless if you don't charge something for it. And it's the same exact thing with these other things. If you just give everything away, that's why I say only give them half of it. So give them buckets and Mylar bags, but don't put anything in it. Or give them rice and beans, but don't give them the buckets and the Mylar bags. So what am I supposed to do with this? Put the buckets and Mylar bags. You're going to have to find it. Go figure it out. Put it in there. And some oxygen absorbers. Looks like we're good to go. All right. Sorry, folks. I mean, I know this thing went on a little bit longer than normal, but remember, tomorrow night, we're going to have Jonathan Otto in here. And folks, you do not want to miss it because this dude is talking about health stuff that you probably haven't heard before. And he's going to be spending a fair amount of time on how to cancer-proof yourself in this time where we have record numbers that are coming up with these turbo cancers that they can't seem to explain. I've had another guy on here from Richardson Nutrition Center where you're just eating apricot seeds every single day. People like G. Edward Griffin and a number of others. People that eat these every single day don't have any incidence of cancer. Okay, that's just one thing. But he's going to bring in here a whole variety of tools that neither one of us have ever heard before. I mean, I guess we'll find out. But he's also going to be giving away some stuff. Like I said, the red light therapy, he's going to be giving away a lot of red light therapy as I understand it. So that's exactly what we're going to do. And like I said, we're not going to be here Friday. But once again, I want to remind you that November 30th, that's going to be the Saturday coming up, Western North Carolina Homestead Meetup. And that's going to be from 11 to 4. And we are going to be out there. And I can't wait to see a lot of you out there as well. I know it's right after the holidays, so I know it's kind of a gamble as to whether or not people show up. But I'm going to be out there, if for no other reason than to eat some ballin' food off that truck. Also want to remind you that that discount code that we have for WellBots, it's going to be linked in here as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so anybody who's wanting to get a solar generator, that thing is, I'm telling y'all what, I'd have never believed in a million years that thing with a beast that would be the beast that it is. So, yeah, that discount code Billy200 save you $200 on top of the, I mean, the thing's already discounted like I think $1,600 already. So if you need one, go over there, get that. I don't get any people seem to, you know, it's funny. People break my chops. Are you making money on this? Well, no, I'm not making any money on this. And number two, why don't you ever ask Walmart that? You know, I'm at least promoting things out here that I truly believe in. And I don't hear any, you know, people come down on me like a ton of bricks. So you make money on this. Well, first of all, no, I don't. And second of all, why don't you ever say this to Walmart? Don't ever hear anybody. You go in there, give them your money. You don't complain. But yeah, the people that break my chops, first of all, I don't even make any money. And if I did, is it the end of the world? But no, I don't. So anyway, anybody that's interested, go check it out. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in. I guess we don't have any questions out there. Remember, tomorrow night, we're going to be live again, and then we're going to be there on Wednesdays. Till next time, stay alert,
stay alive.
They don't want an individual, just a carbon copy. You spitting that manicotti, yeah, I'm talking saucy. All they want to build is a prison world full of pet Tamagotchis. The kamikaze got me out of body like I'm Goku SS3. They want to push me to the center like a cell. They want to split up at the center of the nexus, me. They want me to bow down, but I'm a warrior. I'm a warrior. I will never bow down, 'cause I'm a warrior. I'm a warrior. They want me to bow down, but I'm a warrior. I'm a warrior.